Science Objective Past Question 1. A nation exports agricultural produce mainly to A. Provide food, B. Create employment, C. Earn foreign exchange, D. Provide raw materials. So we're asked for the major reason for exportation of agricultural produce. So why does a country or a nation choose to export agricultural produce? Now, option A says provide food. Well, provision of food is the main reason why a country will choose to grow agricultural produce. But in terms of exporting it, provision of food to whatever country they're exporting it is not considered a major reason why a country will choose to provide or to export agricultural produce. So option A, provide food, is not the answer. Now option B says create employment. Now similar to provision of food, creation of employment cannot be considered a major reason as well, because creation of employment isn't the reason why, or can't be said to be the main reason why a country is choosing to export its produce to the other country. So option B, create employment, is not the answer. Now option C says earn foreign exchange. Now, earning of foreign exchange is the major reason why a country will choose to export agricultural produce, because exportation offers people or firms, including the entire country, more markets for their goods. So for this reason, it enables them to earn foreign exchange, and this also enhances the economy of that country. So option C, earn foreign exchange, is the correct answer. And option D says provide raw materials, and provision of raw materials is not a major reason why a country will choose to export agricultural produce. So as we have established, option C, earn foreign exchange, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 2. Quarantine measures in agriculture are aimed at A. Regulating cost of importation of crops and animals, B. Preventing the introduction of pests and diseases, C. Maintaining genetic purity of crops and animals, D. Introducing new varieties of crops and breeds of animals. So the concept we are looking here is quarantine, and we are asked what is the major aim of quarantine measures in agriculture. Now, quarantine as it relates to agriculture is the separation and restriction of movement of plants and animals with the intent of preventing the spread of pests and diseases. So that is what quarantine is all about. Now, in this definition we have also given the major aim of quarantine. And as we stated here in the definition, it is done with the intent or with the aim of preventing the spread of pests and diseases. So that is option B, preventing the introduction of pests and diseases. So option B is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 3. Which of the following statements is not true about farming in West Africa? A. Farm labor is highly inefficient. B. Farm workers are poorly paid. C. Getting reliable labor is difficult. D. Mechanization is fully adopted. So, if you had to rephrase this question, we are asked to pick out which statement among the options is untrue or false about farming in West Africa. That means among the 4 options given to us, 3 of them are true. So which among them is not true or false among the statements given to us? Now, and it has to do with farming in West Africa or challenges of agricultural production in West Africa. So option A says farm labor is highly inefficient. Now this is actually true as it regards farming in West Africa. Farm labor in West Africa is mainly manual labor. Okay, it's mainly manual labor, and for that reason it is highly inefficient. So this is true, and we're asked to pick out the one that is false. But this statement here is true, so it is incorrect and not the answer to the question. Now option B says farm workers are poorly paid. Now this is also related to option A, which talks about farm labor. Now I stated that farm labor is mainly manual, and it is often very difficult in West Africa to obtain labor, okay, the service of laborers. And even when they manage to obtain the service of laborers, the pay is not exactly, very good. So this is also correct as it relates to farming in West Africa, and it's not the answer to this question. Option C says getting reliable labor is difficult. This is also true, similar to what we said about option B, so it is not the answer to the question. Now option D says mechanization is fully adopted. Now this statement is false. Okay. Now mechanization refers to the use of machines or machinery for farm purposes instead of other sources such as manual labor. Now in West Africa, mechanization is not fully adopted. As I stated when I was talking about option A, many farmers choose or opt for manual labor due to economic conditions, and this problem also stems from various problems such as illiteracy. Okay, the farmers may not know how to operate the machinery used for the farm purposes. Poverty is another issue, as the cost of obtaining some of these machines is very high, and also inadequate facilities for maintenance of the machinery. So, as we have established, option D is not true concerning farming in West Africa and is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 4. Mechanical power is not usually required in A. Soil tillage, B. Fertilizer application, C. Staking of yams, D. Planting of seeds. So mechanical power is when, or it involves the use of machinery, okay, machinery in farm operations rather than human or manual labor. So we're asked here, which of the following activities does not require or does not usually require mechanical power or use of machinery? Now option A says soil tillage. Now for soil tillage, it actually usually requires machinery, as you have machines such as plows, subsoilers, ridgers, etc. that can be used for this function. So as we have established, mechanical power is usually required, so it is not the answer to the question. Now option B says fertilizer application. Now for fertilizer application, you have machines such as the broadcaster, okay, and even irrigation systems. Even irrigation systems can be used for fertilizer application. So it is not the answer to the question. Now option C says staking of yams. Now staking of yams is the process of constructing or putting up sticks or poles to elevate yam vines. Now this purpose of putting up sticks does not usually require any machine, so it's usually done using manual labor. So mechanical power is not usually required in the staking of yams. So option C, staking of yams, is the correct answer to the question. Now for option D, planting of seeds, you have the planter, which is used for that purpose, so it is not the answer. So as we have established, option C is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 5. So you have a diagram with a farm equipment on it, and we are using it to answer question 5 and 6. So this is question 5. The illustrated equipment is called A. Arrow, B. Harpoon, C. Wooden peg, D. Ranging pole. Now you have this equipment, okay, a rod-like equipment with a pointed end, one pointed end, and the other end rounded, okay, and then it is painted black and white. So based on this description, the farm equipment, or farm specifically, it is a farm surveying equipment, and this, based on the description I have given, the color painted black and white, pointed at one edge and rounded at the other edge, it is a ranging pole. It's a farm surveying equipment called a ranging pole. Now it is usually made of wood or metal, could be made of wood or metal, and in terms of length, it ranges from either 1.8 meters, 2.4 meters, or 3.0 meters. So these are the three variations in terms of length that you can have. Now basically it is used to mark stations, okay, during farm surveying processes. So as we have rightly established, it is a ranging pole. So option D, ranging pole, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 6. So you have this diagram illustrating a farm equipment, and we are using it to answer question 5 and 6. So this is question 6. Now, the illustrated equipment is used for A. Making drills, B. Marking stations, C. Making chain length, D. Making holes for transplanting. So the description of this equipment is, okay, pole, it's a pole with one pointed end and the other end rounded, and it is painted black and white. So this equipment, as we established in question 5, is a ranging pole. It is called a ranging pole, and it is a farm surveying equipment. Now, what the function it performs is marking of stations. So marking stations is the function of a ranging pole. So on the farmland where surveying processes or practices are taking place, the ranging pole is put into the ground to mark that particular station, and that is the reason why it is painted black and white, for visibility, for it to be easily spotted from anywhere on the land. So as we have established, it is used for marking stations, and marking stations is option B. So option B is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 7. So we have a diagram illustrating a surveyed school farmland, and we are to use it to answer this question. Now we are asked calculate the area of the farmland. A 0.32 hectares, B 0.36 hectares, C 0.47 hectares, D 0.52 hectares. Now the first thing to do when giving an area of a farmland to calculate is to identify the shape of that farmland. And from what is given to us, the shape of this farmland is a trapezium. So basically, we are given the dimensions of the trapezium, and we are asked to find the area. So we just apply the area for the formula for calculating the area of a trapezium, and then we'll get our answer to this question. So area of a trapezium is equal to A plus B over 2 times H. Now, this 45 meters is H. That is the height, okay, representing the height of the figure. Now, A is 70 meters, B is 90 meters. So we apply those variables into the formula. So area is equal to A 70 plus B 90 over 2 multiplied by 45. Now 70 plus 90 is 160. 160 over 280. 80 multiplied by 45 is 3,600 meters square. Now this is the area in meters square because our dimensions were given to us in meters, but the options we have here are in hectares. So we have to convert our answer from meters square to area in hectares, and to convert from meters square to hectares, all you have to do is to divide the value in meters by 10,000. So from meters square to hectares, we'll say our answer 3,600 meters square divided by 10,000, and that is equal to 0.36 hectares. 0.36 hectares is option B. So option B, 0.36 hectares, is the area of the farmland and the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 8. The major objective of farm planning is to A. Maximize the use of available resources, B. Control insect pests of crops, C. Control diseases among animals, D. Reduce losses due to natural disasters. So the concept we are looking at here is farm planning, and we're asked what is the major objective of this farm planning. Now, farm planning is the drawing or outlining of a farmstead. The drawing or outlining of a farmstead and arrangement of land for proper usage without the risk of land degradation. So in other words, what you are trying to do here is to clearly outline, the plan of the arrangement of land for whatever purposes or for the farmstead, and this is done so as to maximize the resources you have available already on the land, such that it suits whatever purpose you want to perform or whatever you want to do on the farmstead. Now, the options given to us, option A says maximize the use of available resources. Now, as we have stated, that is all you are trying to do in farm planning. You are outlining the farmstead, okay? You are outlining or drawing the farmstead on the land available to you, such that you can use the available resources on the land effectively, so to maximize the use of the available resources. So option A is the major objective of farm planning. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. And welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 9. Which factor of production has the following characteristics? So you have the characteristics, 3 characteristics. 1, free gift of nature. 2, limited in supply. 3, immobile. Now option A, land. B, labor. C, capital. D, entrepreneur. So you have factors of production given to you as the options, and you have to pick out the one which has these characteristics: free gift of nature, limited in supply, and immobile. Now option A is land, and land is defined as a free gift of nature, which is the soil on which agricultural activities take place. Now, an important characteristic of land to note is that it is limited in terms of supply. Okay, that means it is fixed and it cannot be replaced once it is exhausted. Now, option B is labor, and labor refers to man's mental and physical exertions generated in production, in the process of production. Option C says capital, and capital refers to the physical assets accumulated by the farmer to facilitate production. And lastly, option D says entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is the person charged with the responsibility, so the person that directs the affairs of the farm, both administratively and technically. So let's look at which one has the characteristics. Now, I've already said land, based on its definition, it is a free gift of nature. So it ticks the first one, the first characteristic, while the other ones are not necessarily free gifts of nature. They are either employed or generated. Now, option 2, the second characteristic, said limited in supply. Now, among the 4 factors of production, land is the only one that you can say is limited in supply, because once you have used land, you can't regenerate the land back. But for the other factors of production, labor, you can always hire another labor, you can always generate more capital, and you can always get an entrepreneur to manage the production process. So only land is limited in supply, so it also ticks that box. And option 3, of course, says immobile. Of course, you cannot move land from where it is situated or from where it's located. As you said here, it is fixed, so it ticks that box. And for the remaining factors of production, you can always transport labor, you can also move capital, and you can transport the entrepreneur. So from all we have seen, we see that option A, which is land, is the factor of production that exhibits the following characteristics. So it is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 10. Igneous rocks can easily be identified through their A, glassy appearance, B, coarse texture, C, stratified layers, D, fossil content. So igneous rocks is one of the forms or types of rocks that we have. Now, igneous rocks are formed from hot molten magma escaping to the earth's surface and cooling. Now, once they cool, they are characterized by a glassy or crystalline appearance. A glassy or crystalline appearance. That is, based on its appearance, it looks sort of like a glass or a crystal based on appearance. So this is the distinguishing characteristic of igneous rocks. That's why we are asked how it can easily be identified. So from what we have said, a glassy appearance is option A. So option A, glassy appearance, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. This is WAEC 2020 Agri. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agri Science Objective Past Question 13. The deficiency of nitrogen in a maize plant can be corrected by applying A. Potassium chloride, B. Muriate of potash, C. Sulfate of ammonia, D. Calcium carbonate. So we're asked for what you can use as a nitrogen supplement for plants, specifically in this case a maize plant. So the deficiency of nitrogen, what can you do to correct, or what can you apply to correct the deficiency of nitrogen? Option A says potassium chloride, B says muriate of potash, C sulfate of ammonia, D calcium carbonate. Now, a quick clue to sort out which one can correct for the deficiency of nitrogen is to check for the one amongst the option, the substance amongst the option that contains nitrogen, the elements nitrogen. So if it contains nitrogen, then of course it will give you an indication that it corrects for nitrogen deficiency. Now option A says potassium chloride. Of course, potassium chloride is made up of potassium and chlorine, so its chemical formula is KCl. So it does not contain nitrogen, and hence you can't say it accounts or it can correct for deficiency of nitrogen, so it is not the answer to the question. Now, muriate of potash is same as potassium chloride, or contains both potassium and chlorine. So, of course, similar to what we had in potassium chloride, does not contain nitrogen, so it cannot correct the deficiency of nitrogen, so it is not the answer. Now, sulfate of ammonia has the chemical formula NH4 to SO4. So this is sulfate of ammonia. So as you can see here, it contains the elements nitrogen, hydrogen, sulfur, and oxygen. But basically, it is used majorly as a source of nitrogen and sulfur, as it contains 21% nitrogen and 24% sulfur. So it contains nitrogen, and hence it can be used to correct the deficiency of nitrogen. So option C, sulfate of ammonia, is the correct answer to the question. Now option D says calcium carbonate, and of course it also does not contain nitrogen. This is its chemical formula, so it does not contain nitrogen and cannot be used to correct the deficiency of nitrogen. So as we have rightly established, option C, sulfate of ammonia, is the correct answer to the question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. This is WAEC 2020 Agri Science Objective Past Question 14. The structure of sandy soils can be described as A. Platy, B. crumbly, C. single-grained, D. blocky. So what we are looking at here is the soil structure of sandy soil. And of course, sandy soil is a type of soil which sand particles are much more than the other soil particles. Now, in terms of soil structure, the sandy soil particles are described as single-grained in terms of structure, and this is because the particles are not clumped together. So this accounts for the high porosity of the soil and the loosely packed particles of the soil. So we describe the structure of the soil particles as single-grained, and single-grained is option C. So option C is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Part Question 15. So you have a table here with plots, 4 plots and 4 years. So what is illustrated on a table, you have a particular crop grown on a particular plot for a particular year. For example, plot 1, yam is grown year 1, granite is grown year 2, maize year 3, cowpea year 4, and like that for the remaining plots. Now, the cropping system illustrated in the table is A, mixed cropping, B, crop rotation, C, shifting cultivation, D, land rotation. Now, option A, which is mixed cropping, is when 2 or more crops are grown on the same land simultaneously. So that is mixed cropping. And from what we have here, of course, that is not the case in this. So you don't have 2 crops being grown on the same piece of land at the same time. So that is not the answer to this question. Now, option B says crop rotation. And crop rotation is described as changing the type of crop grown on the land each season or year. So as you can see here, that is actually the case here, because the type of crop that is grown on the land on each plot is changed each season. For example, now on plot 2, for the first season or for the first year, granite was grown, and then for the next year another crop was grown, maize. Likewise, the third and the fourth year. So option B, crop rotation, is the correct answer to this question. Now, shifting cultivation is when a piece of land is cleared of vegetation and cultivated for a few years and then abandoned for a new area until the fertility of that particular land has been restored. So as you can see, it is not what we have here, and it is not the answer. And lastly, option D, which is land rotation, is similar to shifting cultivation, but in land rotation, the farmer cultivates the piece of land for a time and then leaves it to another land, he leaves it to another land when it becomes infertile. Okay, so of course that is not the case here, so it is incorrect. So as we have rightly established, option B, crop rotation, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 16. So you have this table here, which was used also in question 15, showing 4 plots where 4 different crops are planted in 4 consecutive years. Now, which of the following crops can conveniently replace maize in the table? A, cassava, B, cashew, C, mango, D, millet. Now, we have established the fact in question 15 that this is a crop rotation system. And in a crop rotation system, you plant one type of crop. For example, maize is a cereal, okay? Yam is a tuber, cowpea and groundnut are legumes. So you plant a specific type of crop. Now, if you are to replace maize on the table, you will need to replace it with another cereal. So for us to pick out the one that can conveniently replace maize in the table, we'll look for the one that is a cereal that belongs to the same class as maize, and that can conveniently replace maize. Now, the reason for this is because some of the crops, for example legumes, are known to have nutrient fixing property in the soil, so it has to be adequately rotated such that the soil in each land does not get depleted. So now, cassava is not a cereal, okay? Cassava is not a cereal, so it is not the answer to the question. Likewise, cashew is a tree crop. It's a tree crop, and hence cannot be used to replace maize. Mango as well is a tree crop and cannot be used. Mango as well is a tree crop and cannot be used to replace maize on the table. So it is not the answer to the question. Now, option D, which is millet, is a cereal, and since it's a cereal, it can be used to replace maize conveniently on the table. So option D, millet, is the correct answer to the question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. This is WAEC 2020 Agri-Science Objective Past Question 17. The following bacteria are important in the nitrogen cycle except A. Bacillus, B. Nitrobacter, C. Nitrosomonas, D. Rhizobium. So we are talking of bacteria that are useful or important, bacteria important or that are found in the nitrogen cycle, and we're asked to pick out the one which is not important in the nitrogen cycle. Now, option A says Bacillus. Bacillus is basically a class or a description of bacteria according to shape. Okay, so it's a generic term for bacteria of a particular shape, rod shape bacteria in general. So it cannot be, you can't exactly say it is important to the nitrogen cycle because that particular type of bacteria is not specified. So option A is not important in the nitrogen cycle. Now let's show that the others are, how important they are to the, or in terms of their importance to the cycle. Now option B says Nitrobacter. That is the bacteria that converts nitrite to nitrate, conversion of nitrite to nitrate. Option C says Nitrosomonas, and this converts ammonium salt to nitrite. And option D says Rhizobium, which converts atmospheric nitrogen to nitrate. So these are the functions of these three bacteria. So as you can see, in the nitrogen cycle, they perform these functions, and hence they are important to the nitrogen cycle apart from Bacillus. So option A, Bacillus, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. This is WAEC 2020 Agri-Science Objective Past Question 18. Determine the ratio of nutrients in NPK 5, 10, 15. A, 1 to 2 to 2. B, 1 to 2 to 3. C, 1 to 3 to 1. D, 2 to 1 to 3. So we have NPK, which is a type of fertilizer consisting of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium combined as described here in the question. Now we're asked to determine the ratio of these nutrients Now, to determine the ratio, all you have to do is reduce them to the lowest term. So 5 is the smallest figure, then 10, then 15. And if you reduce to the lowest term, you have it in the ratio 1, that is 1, 2, 3. That is to say, for every 1 part of nitrogen you have 2 parts of phosphorus and 3 parts of potassium. So that is what you have depicted here. So in ratio form, that would be 1:2:3, and 1:2:3 is option B. So option B is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agri Science Objective Part Question 19. Which of the following methods of irrigation is most efficient in terms of water conservation? A. Flood irrigation. B. Furrow irrigation. C. Border irrigation. D. Drip irrigation. So you have various forms of irrigation here. So let's see which one is most efficient in terms of water conservation. In option A says flood irrigation, and in flood irrigation, water is applied to the field from open ditches or pipes through small channels or small trenches. Okay, so water is applied to the field from these small trenches running through the crops, And option B says furrow irrigation, and in furrow irrigation, water is applied to the field from open ditches or pipes through small channels or furrows. Okay. Now, in flood irrigation, pipes may not usually be used, so just the open ditches, okay, or trenches. Now, option B says border irrigation. In border irrigation, the field is divided into strips separated by border ridges running down the gradient of the field, and then these areas are flooded during irrigation. And lastly, option B, drip irrigation. The water is delivered through a nozzle at intervals to the roots of the plant. So if you observe, option A, B, and C involves use of much water, so it involves one way of flooding or the other. However, in drip irrigation, the water is delivered through nozzles, like small pipes, at various intervals directly to the roots of the plant. So excess water is not usually left running over in drip irrigation. So it is the most efficient in terms of water conservation. So option D, drip irrigation, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agri Science Objective Past Question 20. Which of the following crops is dicotyledonous? A. Maize. B. Oryza sativa. C. Laes guinensis. D. Vigna unguiculata. So we're asked for which of the crops is dicotyledonous. That is, which one is a dicotyledon? And dicotyledonous crops are crops that have two seed leaves. That is, in terms of their embryonic development, they usually germinate or show up with 2 seed leaves, so dicotyledonous. Their counterparts are known as monocotyledons, which have 1 seed leaf. So option A, which is maize, is maize. B, Oryza sativa, is rice. C is oil palm, and then D is cowpea. Now, maize is a monocot. That means it has 1 seed leaf. Rice as well. Oil palm is also a monocot, but cowpea is a dicot. Now, cowpea is a legume, okay, and almost all legumes are dicotyledons. Almost all legumes are dicotyledons. So option D, Vigna unguiculata, or cowpea, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Part Question 21. Crops which grow and mature within few weeks of their cultivation are called A. Annual crops, B. Ephemeral crops, C. Perennial crops, D. Biennial crops. So you have crops here classified according to their life cycle. You have crops classified according to their life cycle. So let's see which one you can say grow and mature within few weeks of their cultivation. In option A, which is annual crops, refers to crops which complete their life cycle once in a year or a growing season. So they grow and mature within a year. An example of such crops include maize and millets, etc. Now option B says ephemeral crops. Now these are crops that complete their life cycle once in 3 or 4 months. So in a couple of, in a few weeks, 3 or 4 months, can also say in few weeks, that is not up to a year. Okay, an example include tomato. Option C is perennial crops, and these are crops that complete their life cycle once in 3 years. And examples include sugarcane, plantain, etc. And lastly, option D is biennial crops, and these are crops that complete their life cycle once in 2 years. And okay, once in 2 years. Now, from the explanations we have given, the question asks for the one which completes growth and maturity in a few weeks, and we established that option B, which is ephemeral crops, can be said to complete their growth and maturity within 3 or 4 months. That is a few weeks. That is just about a few weeks. So option B, ephemeral crops, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 22. If the yield of cowpea is 750 kg per hectare, calculate the yield of cowpea from the 20 hectare farm. A. 7,500 kg, B. 15,000 kg, C. 22,500 kg, D. 37,500 kg. So you have the yield for cowpea on a particular piece of land as 750 kg per hectare. So that means for every 1 hectare, it yields 750 kg. Now I asked to calculate the yield of cowpea from a 20 hectare farm. So, how many kg of cowpea will it yield? Now, in order to get that, the yield will be equal to 750 times 20, and that is 15,000 kg. So 15,000 kg is option B. So 20 hectare farm, 20 hectares will yield 15,000 kg, option B of cowpea. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Part Question 23. Which of the following statements about threshing of rice are true? You have three statements. 1. Rice grains are separated from the panicle. 2. Breakage of some grains could occur. 3. The grains are polished. So option A, 1 and 2 only. B, 1 and 3 only. C, 3 and 2 only. D, 1, 2 and 3. Now I ask what is true about threshing of rice. And threshing of rice involves, it's a procedure that involves separating grains from panicles without removing the husk. Now it is usually or manually done by beating the grain using a flail on a threshing floor. So it's more or less like beating the grain on the floor. So that is how threshing of rice is true. Now let's look at the statements. Now, like, as we said, rice grains are separated from the panicle, and that is covered in the statement, separation of the grains from the panicle. So statement 1 is true. Now B says breakage of some grains could occur. Now this is actually true because of the mechanical process involved in this procedure. While beating the grain on the floor, some of the grains could break. So option statement 2 is also true as it regards threshing of rice. Now option statement 3 says the grains are polished. Now these statements cannot be directly linked to the threshing of rice, as the main aim of rice threshing is just to separate the grains from the panicles. So the third one, grains are polished, is not true concerning threshing of rice. So statements 1 and 2 only is true. Statement 1 and 2 only is option A. So A is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Part Question 24. An important reason for staking yam is to A. Expose the leaves to sunlight. B. Prevent water from logging on the farm. C. Enhance the formation of leaves. D. Expose the flowers to pollination. So staking is a procedure, a farm procedure that involves elevating the creeping vines, in this case of yam, above ground level by means of supporting structures. Now these supporting structures are usually constructed using wood or bamboo or sometimes metal. Now the primary reason, or the important reason for staking yam is to mainly allow for maximum sunlight interception for the purpose of plant photosynthesis, thus to obtain high yield. So elevating the creeping vines of yams above ground level enables the yam plants to intercept sunlight much more adequately and more efficiently, and this enhances, or it allows for plant photosynthesis, thus increasing the yield of the crops. So option A says expose the leaves to sunlight, and as we have rightly established here, the main reason for staking is to allow for sunlight to expose the leaves to sunlight. So option A, expose the leaves to sunlight, is the correct answer to the question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. WAEC 2020 Agri Science Objective Past Question 25. A crop that can be propagated by stem cutting is A. Plantain, B. Pepper, C. Cassava, D. Carrot. So stem cutting refers to a method used, or a method of propagation or you can say a method of vegetative propagation, whereby a piece of the plant stem is rooted into a growth medium, such as moist soil. So that is stem cutting. Now option A, which is plantain, is propagated by means of sucker. Okay, that's the means of propagation. Now option B, pepper, is best propagated by use of seedlings. Option C, cassava, is best propagated by stem cutting, this technique we have described. And option D, carrot, is best propagated via seeds. So as we have established, option C, stem cutting, is a method you can use to propagate cassava. So option C, cassava, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agri Science Objective Past Question 26. Which of the following diseases of tomato is caused by a nematode? A. Fusarium wilt, B. Root knot, C. Leaf spot, D. Leaf curl. So we have 4 diseases of tomato here, and I asked which of them is caused by a nematode. Which one has a nematode as its causal organism? Now option A is Fusarium wilt. Now Fusarium wilt is a fungal disease. Okay, that means it is caused by a fungus, and the name of that fungus is Fusarium onisporium. So that is the name of the causal organism. Now option B says root knot. Now root knot is a nematodal disease. That means it's caused by a nematode. Okay, and the name of the nematode is the root knot nematode. Now option C is leaf spot. Now leaf spot is a fungal disease, just like the Fusarium wilt. It's a fungal disease, and it is caused by a fungus known as Chadrosporium species. So, and option D is leaf curl. Now it is a viral disease caused by a virus. Okay, and that virus is known as the tomato yellow leaf curl virus, and it's abbreviated as TYLCV. So as we have already established, option B, root knot, is nematodal. It is caused by a nematode known as the root knot nematode. So option B, root knot, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 27. The yield of cocoa trees is not influenced by A. Pest infestation, B. Fertilizer application, C. Method of harvesting, D. Method of soil tillage. So these are various factors listed here, and I asked for the one that does not influence the yield of cocoa trees. The yield of cocoa trees. Now let's analyze each of the options. Now option A says pest infestation. Now pest infestation influences the yield of cocoa trees, because when you have high pest infestation, you have, or this equates to low or decreased yield. Okay, so that's why it's very important to carry out measures to prevent pest infestation. Now option B says fertilizer application. Now this also influences the yield of cocoa trees, as application of fertilizer can help to increase the yield of the cocoa, so it influences the yield. Now option C says method of harvesting. Now method of harvesting also influences the yield of cocoa, as there are some harvesting measures that can be taken to ensure that maximum produce is harvested. And then lastly, option D says method of soil tillage. Now method of soil tillage does not directly influence the yield of cocoa trees. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 28. The following crops are fiber crops except A. Cotton, B. Onion, C. Jute, D. sisal. Now, the concept we are looking at here is fiber crops. Okay, fiber crops. And we're asked which amongst the options is not a fiber crops. Now, fiber crops are basically crops that are used for cloth manufacturing. So they have specialized features that are used in the manufacture of clothes. And examples of fiber crops include cotton, kenaf, sisal, jute, etc. So we have mentioned some examples of fiber crops in the definition we just gave, and some of them are amongst the options. Now, cotton, which we mentioned, is of course a fiber crop. Now, onion was not mentioned, and it is not a fiber crop. Onion is classified as a spice, or under the category of crops you call spices, and basically the function of that type of crop is, so spices are used to add flavor to food. And other examples of spices include ginger, garlic, etc. So onion is a spice and it is not a fiber crop. Therefore, it is the correct answer to the question, because we are asked which one is not a fiber crop. Now, the other ones, jute, we also mentioned as an example of fiber crop, and sisal, of course, we mentioned as a fiber crop. So option B, onion, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to the channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 29. The fencing and partitioning of a pasture land into paddocks is meant to A. Suppress weeds that compete with pasture crops, B. Control grazing and ensure regeneration of pasture, C. Allow free movement of ruminants on the pasture, D. Prevent lodging of the pasture plant. So we are looking at some of the practices carried out on a pasture land. And a pasture land or simply referred to as pasture, is a piece of land containing grass for farm animals, specifically ruminants. Okay, ruminants animals such as sheep, goats, and cattle to eat as it grows. So it's a piece of, you can say it's a piece of land where grasses are grown specifically for the purpose of feeding ruminant animals. Now, another concept we see in the question here is paddocks. Now, a paddock, as it relates to a pasture, is a temporary small subdivision of a pasture made with a fence. So that subdivision is intensely grazed for a day and left to regenerate for at least 80 days. So the purpose of a paddock, that is the small subdivision of a pasture, is to allow for intense grazing, intense controlled grazing, and also to allow for regeneration of that particular portion of the pasture. Now, among the options listed to us, option B says control grazing and ensure regeneration of a pasture. And from the function or the purpose of a paddock that we have described here, it is made to control grazing and also to ensure that the pasture or that portion of the pasture is left to regenerate. So option B, control grazing and ensure regeneration of pasture, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. When a gene is expressed in the phenotype in a homozygous or heterozygous form, that gene is said to be A. segregating, B. recessive, C. dominant, D. desirable. So this is under genetics. So be it plant or animal genetics, is basically the same principles that apply in this aspect of gene expression. So we're asked when a gene is expressed in the phenotype. Okay, phenotype refers to the physical appearance of an organism. Okay, so when a gene is expressed in the phenotype in a homozygous or heterozygous form, that gene is said to be. So, in other words, if you have to rephrase this question, you are being asked, what do you call a gene that expresses itself, always expresses itself in the presence of other genes? Okay, now option A says segregating. So segregating genes basically refers to all genes, as all genes segregate or split during cell division. Okay, so it has nothing to do with expression, so it is not the answer to this question. Now option B says recessive genes. Now recessive genes are genes that do not express themselves. Okay, genes that are not expressed in the presence of another gene. So another thing to note about recessive gene is that it's only expressed in homozygous form. That is when the pair genes occur in pairs. So a gene that only expresses itself when it is in the same or when it is paired with a gene that is similar to itself, okay, or the same with itself, is called a recessive gene. So option C says dominant. Now a dominant gene is the opposite of recessive gene, and it's a gene that expresses itself in the presence of another gene. So, be it a gene that is the same as itself, that is, be it in homozygous form, or in the presence of a different gene, that is heterozygous form, it always expresses itself. And then lastly, you have desirable gene, and basically desirable gene is just any form of gene or any gene that you would want to obtain, okay, that you want to obtain as a result of reproduction. So, as we have rightly expressed here, we describe the dominant gene as the gene which expresses itself in the presence of another gene, be it the same gene as itself, that is, be it in homozygous form, or be it in the presence of a different gene, that is, in heterozygous form. So, as we have rightly established, option C, a dominant gene, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 31. Uncontrolled burning of forests encourages A. Deforestation, B. Afforestation, C. Regeneration, D. Exploitation. So, uncontrolled burning of forest is basically one of the problems that is encountered in forest management or management of forest resources. And we're basically asked, what happens as a consequence? What happens as a consequence of uncontrolled burning of forests? Now, basically, when forests are burnt uncontrollably, what happens is that many of the trees in the forest are no longer suitable for various purposes. Okay, so let's say the trees in the forest were being grown for industrial purposes, for the purposes of making furniture. Okay, but once they are set on fire and burnt, what happens is that those trees are no longer suitable for that particular purpose. Okay, so since they are no longer suitable for that purpose, neither do they provide any form of or add any form of bioimportance. Okay, what happens then is that they have to be cut down or they have to be felled, and the felling of trees is basically described as deforestation. Okay, deforestation refers to the felling of trees. So uncontrolled burning of forests encourage deforestation because the trees will no longer be suitable for whatever purpose for which they were set out to be used for, so they have to be felled. So option A, deforestation, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 34. An agricultural system which combines crop production with forest establishment is known as A. Plantation farming, B. Tongia farming, C. Arable farming, D. Mixed farming. So you have various farmings or agricultural systems here, and we asked for the one which combines crop production and forest establishment. So let's see what each of the options entail. Now, plantation farming refers to the specialized commercial or large scale cultivation of mainly cash crops. Option B, which is Tongia farming, refers to a system whereby forest trees and food crops are planted together on the same piece of land. Now it mixes agriculture with forestry. Now option C, which is arable farming refers to when only crops are grown on a farm and then used or sold by the farmer depending on his needs. So that describes arable farming. And lastly, you have option D, which is mixed farming, and it is a farming system which involves both growing of crops and raising of livestock, usually on the same piece of land. Now, the question talks about a system which combines crop production and forest establishment. And option B, which is Tonga farming, you can see that it is when forest trees, that is forest establishment, and food crops, crop production happens or takes place on the same piece of land. So it combines both production of crops, which is agriculture, and forestry. So option B, Tonga farming, is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 35. An important characteristic of pigs is that they are A. Highly prolific, B. Great milk producers, C. Resistant to parasites, D. Able to digest cellulose. So in terms of pig management, what is one of the characteristics that is deemed important in terms of pig management? Now option A says highly prolific. Now when you say highly prolific, it means that they produce many of their young. They produce many of their young. And as it relates to pigs, they produce about 8 to 10 of their young. So they are highly prolific. They produce 8 to 10 piglets at a time. Now option B says great milk producers. Now pigs are not known for milk production. The animals that are recognized for their milk production include cattle, goats, and sometimes sheep. Now resistance to parasites is one of the characteristic of pigs, but however it is not recognized as a major characteristic in pig management. It is not considered in pig management. Now, in fact, the meat of pig, that is pork, is associated with tapeworm. It is associated with tapeworm. Now, option B says able to digest cellulose. Now, this is a characteristic that is associated with ruminant animals, and pig is not a ruminant animal, so it is not able to digest cellulose. So the characteristic that we have picked out here that is associated with pigs is option A, highly prolific. So that is an important characteristic in pig management, and it is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. And welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 36. Digestion in ruminants is mainly A. Enzymatic, B. Microbial, C. Mastication and enzymatic, D. Microbial and enzymatic. Now, ruminant animals or ruminants are animals that have 4 stomach compartments or 4 stomach chambers. And those 4 stomach chambers are namely, first the rumen, secondly the reticulum, thirdly you have the omasome, and the 4th chamber is known as the abomasome. And this is usually referred to as the true stomach. So these are the 4 stomach compartments, and each of them are known for various functions. Now, the rumen is basically the site where the food is exposed to microbes. So it undergoes fermentation by microbial rumen is where the food undergoes fermentation by microbial action, by the action of the microbes present in the stomach of non-ruminant animals. So this is the reason why it is known as the true stomach. So from what we have established, digestion in ruminants majorly is microbial action which takes place in the rumen and enzymatic action which takes place in the abomasum. So it is mainly microbial and enzymatic, and microbial and enzymatic is option D. So option D is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Part Question 37. If 30 eggs make up a crate of eggs, how many eggs are in 2 packs, assuming a pack contains 10 crates of eggs? A. 200 eggs, B. 300 eggs, C. 400 eggs, D. 600 eggs. So we are giving some information here. We said we are to assume hypothetically that 1 crate of eggs hypothetically contains 30 eggs. So 1 crate equal to 30 eggs. And we are asked how many eggs are in 2 packs, assuming that 1 pack contains 10 crates of eggs. So we have to find the number of eggs in 2 packs of eggs. Now, we have been told that 1 crate contains 30 eggs. So first we'll get how many eggs are contained in 10 crates. So if you have 1 crate containing 30 eggs, 10 crates will contain how many eggs? So if you cross multiply that, okay, 10 multiplied by 30 is equal to 300 eggs. So 10 crates of eggs will contain 300 eggs based on the values that have been given to us. Now, since we know the number of eggs now in 10 crates, we're asked how many eggs do you have in 2 packs? Now, 1 pack contains of eggs. You have 20 crates. Okay, so if you have 300 eggs in 10 crates, how many eggs will you have in 20 crates? Okay, so that will be 300 times 20 divided by 10. 300 times 20 divided by 10. And if you do this, you get 600 eggs. So option D, 600 eggs. 600 eggs is the number of eggs you have in 2 packs using the data given to us. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 38. In a brooder house, which of the following factors is monitored with the use of wet and dry hygrometer? A. Rainfall, B. Temperature, C. Relative humidity, D. Atmospheric pressure. So, we're asked what do you monitor with the use of wet and dry hygrometers? Now, option A says rainfall. Now, rainfall is usually measured in general using a rain gauge. Temperature is measured using a thermometer. Relative humidity is measured using hygrometer, okay, either wet or dry. And then atmospheric pressure is usually measured using barometers, okay. So from what we've established here, what you measure with wet and dry hygrometer is C, relative humidity. So option C is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 39. Which of the following statements is not a reason for feeding farm animals? A. Production of energy for work. B. Building up of body tissue. C. Production of inorganic manure. D. Protection of animals from diseases. So we're asked for which of the statements is not a reason why farm animals are fed. Now option A says production of energy for work. Now this is a reason why farm animals are fed, because in order for them, or in the case of work animals, they need to be fed in order for them to obtain energy for that they will be used for the farm work. So it is a reason, and we're asked for the one which is not a reason, so it is not the answer to this question. Now option B says building up of body tissue. Now for animals that are majorly used as meat, okay, that are raised to be used for meat, the body tissue needs to be built up. The body tissue needs to be built up. So the animals have to be fed in order for the body tissues to build up, so that you can sufficiently have enough meat or obtain enough meat from that animal. So it is a reason why farm animals are fed, and it is not the answer to this question. Now, option C says production of inorganic manure. Now, the key word to note here is inorganic, because you can actually obtain manure from animals, that is the animal dung. However, it says inorganic manure. Now, inorganic manure is basically manure that is not made up of organic products. So, like fertilizers, okay, like NPK, for example, is classified as inorganic manure, okay, or artificial manure. Now, in this case, it doesn't matter how much you feed farm animals, they will never produce inorganic manure. So it is not a reason for feeding farm animals. So it is the correct answer to this question. Now option D says protection of animals from diseases. Now this is also a reason for feeding of farm animals, as feeding them helps to build, feeding helps, or proper nutrition helps to build the immune system of farm animals and makes them less susceptible to diseases. So it is also a reason, and hence it's not the answer to this question. So as we've rightly established, option C is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 40. Rickets in farm animals can be controlled by A. Feeding carbohydrates to the animals. B. Feeding animals with quality grasses and legumes. C. Adding yeast and vegetables to animal feed. D. Adding fish meal and oyster shell to animal feed. Now, rickets in farm animals is usually due to the deficiency of vitamin D. So rickets is usually due to vitamin D deficiency. Okay, so how can it be controlled, or how can it be curtailed? Now option A says feeding carbohydrates to the animals. Now carbohydrates are not a rich source of vitamin D, so this is not the answer to the question. Okay, option B says feeding animals with quality grasses and legumes. Now legumes and grasses are a source of things like proteins and roughages, but it is not a source of vitamin D, or they are not sources of vitamin D. So option B is not the answer to the question. Now option C says yeast and vegetables. Now yeast and vegetables are also not rich sources, okay, are not rich sources of vitamin D. So it is not the answer to the question. Now option D says adding fish meal and oyster to animal feed. Now fish and oyster shells are rich sources of vitamin D, and since rickets is due to lack of vitamin D, supplementing for vitamin D can control rickets, and these are sources of very rich sources of vitamin D. So option D, adding fish meal and oyster shell to animal feed, is a way of controlling rickets in farm animals. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I'll be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 41. The methods of rangeland improvement which ensures continuous herbage growth during the dry season are A. Reseeding and pest control, B. Controlled stocking and disease control, C. Fertilizer application and irrigation, D. Rotational grazing and weed control. So we're looking at rangeland management, specifically rangeland improvements. Now I asked for the method which ensures continuous herbage growth, that is growth of the grasses in the rangeland during dry season. Now before I begin, a rangeland is a large expanse of land where natural forage, that is grasses, legumes, or mixture of both, and other herbage plants are allowed to grow for the purpose of grazing, that is grazing animals such as sheep, goats, cattle, etc. Now, let's take a look at each of the options and see which of them continuous herbage growth. Now, option A says reseeding and pest control. Now, this ensures continuous herbage growth, but not during the dry season. Reseeding and pest control won't particularly enhance the chances of the rangeland continuing to grow during the dry season. So this is not the answer to the question. Now, option B says controlled stocking and disease control. Now, this is similar to that of pest control and reseeding. It will also not be of any assistance during the dry season. So this is not the answer. Now, option C says fertilizer application and irrigation. Now, fertilizer application and irrigation will not only ensure that the herbage continues to grow, but it will also help the herbage to continue to grow during dry season, as irrigation involves the artificial application of water. So this will actually help to allow for availability of fresh and succulent grasses throughout the year. So option C, fertilizer application and irrigation, is the answer to the question. And rotational grazing and weed control, which is option D, is similar to the first two options, which is not of any assistance during the dry season. So option C is the answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 42. Tapeworm, liver fluke, and roundworm can be controlled by A. Flushing, B. Drenching, C. Dipping, D. Fumigation. So these four options given to us are methods, or management practices that are used for one reason or the other. So let's see which of them is used to control tapeworm, liver fluke, and roundworm. Now, mind you, these three, the aforementioned organisms, that is tapeworm, liver fluke, and roundworm, are classified as endoparasites. Okay, endoparasites. That is, parasites that live inside the body of their host. Okay, so option A is flushing. Now, flushing is a process, or refers to the process of increasing nutrient intake and body condition prior to and during breeding. Now, option B says drenching. Okay, now drenching refers to the process of administering chemical solutions to animals with the purpose of protecting them from various parasites. Option C says dipping. Dipping is the process of immersing animals in mixture of chemicals to control ectoparasites. And lastly, option D, which is fumigation, refers to the general application of chemicals, okay, into the surroundings for the purpose of disinfection. So these four practices, as you can see, are practices in animal husbandry. Now, option B, which is drenching, specifically talks about administering chemical solutions to animals, okay, to protect them from various parasites. So these chemical solutions are administered via oral administration, via the mouth. And this is done to protect from various parasites, including or specifically endoparasites such as the tapeworm, the liver fluke, and the roundworm. Okay, so option B, drenching, is the procedure that is used to control endoparasites such as tapeworm, liver fluke, and roundworm, and it is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 43. You have a diagram here illustrating a fishing tool. So I use it to answer questions 43 and 44. So this is question 43. Now, the part which a bait is attached before lowering the tool in water is labeled A4, B3, C2, D1. Now, this fishing tool, of course, is usually known as the hook and line setup. Okay, the hook and line setup, and basically a rod is used, okay, and a line is attached, like a string. A line is attached, and then a hook attached at the end of the line, and basically it is used for fishing as described. So the part labeled 1, okay, this part labeled 1 is known as the hook. The part labeled 2 is the float. The part labeled 3 is the line, and the part labeled 4 is the rod or the handle. Okay, so that's called the rod or the handle. Now, the part which a bait is attached before lowering the tool in water is 1, the hook. So a bait such as a worm is attached around here, okay, attached around here to the hook, and what it does is for it to attract the fish so that the fish can be caught. So that part is labeled 1. So option D1 is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 44. So we have this diagram here which illustrates a fishing tool, and we have to use it to answer questions 43 and 44. So which of the labeled parts enables the tool to float on water when fish is caught? Option A is 4, B 3, C 2, 1 is D. Okay, so the parts of this setup: number 1 is the hook, number 2 is the float, 3 is the line, and 4 is the handle or the rod. Okay, so float, this is float. So as the name implies, the part that enables the tool to float on water when fish is caught is the float. So, okay, the float, the name gives it away. So number 2, the float, is that part of the setup or the tool which enables it to float on water when fish is caught. So 2 is option C, and that is the answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 45. Which of the following statements is not a precautionary measure in beekeeping? A. The apiary should not be fenced to allow for proper ventilation. B. The attendant should always wear protective clothing. C. Warning signs should be placed near an apiary. D. Locate apiaries far from human dwellings. So beekeeping is also known as apiculture. And the part, the bee farm, okay, the bee farm where the bees are grown is known as the apiary. So we are asked which of the following is not a precautionary measure in apiculture or beekeeping. Now option A says the apiary should not be fenced to allow for proper ventilation. Now this is false, okay? This is not a precautionary measure in beekeeping. The apiary should be fenced, okay? The apiary should be fenced, okay? So this is to restrict the bees within in the case of any accidents, or breaks. So the bees can remain confined within a particular area. So the apiary should be fenced. So this option is not a precautionary measure. So it is the answer to this question. So let's look at the other ones and why they are not the answer to the question. Now option B says the attendant should always wear protective clothing. Obviously this is a precautionary measure, as we know that bee stings, okay, bee stings are often could lead to serious problems and could even in extreme cases be fatal. So it is required for the attendant to always protect him or herself by wearing protective clothing. So this is a precautionary measure and hence is not the answer to the question. Now option C says warning signs should be placed near an apiary. This is also true. This is a precaution, as warning signs should be kept to warn bypassers about the presence of bees in that area. So option D says locate apiaries far from human dwellings, and this is also a precaution. Apiaries should not be located close to where or residential areas, also in the case of accidents or breaks, okay? So this is not the answer. So as we have rightly established, option A is the answer to the question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 46. If a farmer produces 9 bags of millet at an average cost of 80,000 D per bag and sells each of the bags at 90,000 D, the profit is A 10,000 D, B 80,000 D, C 90,000 D, D 170,000 D. So this D here represents a currency, okay? So we're asked if 9 bags of millet is produced at a cost of 80,000 D per bag, okay? So for each bag produced, 80,000 D is produced, and then he sells each bag at 90,000 D. What is his profit? Now, if he produces at 80,000 D and he sells at 90,000 D, okay, so his profit for one bag is 10,000 D. So this is his profit per bag. Now he sold 9 bags, so 9 times 10,000 D will give you the profit for the 9 bags which he sold at 90,000 D. So that is 90,000 D. So that means the farmer made a total profit of 90,000 D, and 90,000 D is option C. So option C is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Part Question 47. So you have a diagram here showing a demand and supply graph. Okay, so the part labeled C in the graph is the A, quantity supplied, B, equilibrium price, C, quantity demanded, D, equilibrium point. So you have 2 lines here in the graph. So the one labeled D, the line labeled D is the demand curve. The one labeled S is the supply curve, and the part labeled C, where the demand and supply curve meet, where they intersect, is known as the equilibrium price. Okay, and the equilibrium price is the price at which the quantity of goods, okay, demanded and supplied are equal. So that is the equilibrium price labeled C. So C is equilibrium price, and equilibrium price is option B. So option B is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agric Science Objective Past Question 48. You have this diagram here, okay, a demand and a supply graph. Now, the question is, a farmer whose production exceeds point C will experience A, surplus to the market, B, shortfalls in supply, C, decrease in cost of production, D, decrease in revenue generated. Now, we have established that in question 47, that the part labeled C is known as the equilibrium price. Okay, that is the equilibrium price labeled C. I will define it as the price at which quantity of goods demanded and supplied are equal. Okay, so what happens when it exceeds, goes above this point? Okay, now what happens is that above point C, quantity supplied, okay, above point C, any region above point C is region in which quantity of supply or quantity supplied increases, okay, hence leading to surplus in market. Now, this is based on the fact that when quantity supplied is increased, you have more goods being supplied in the market than is being demanded for. Okay, so let's say 50, for example, if let's say 50 kg of that commodity is being demanded for, but because it has passed equilibrium price, you have, let's say, 100, okay, kg of that goods being supplied. So it will lead to surplus in the market. So surplus is option A, surplus to the market. So that is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I'll be answering WAEC 2020 Agri Science Objective Past Question 49. A total of 12,000 kg of maize was demanded at 20 naira per kg, while 8,000 kg of it was demanded at 30 naira per kg. What is the percentage of change in quantity demanded? Now, this is a question on calculating percentage of change in quantity demanded. Now, option A says 33%, B 50%, C 67%, D 150%. Now, percentage change in quantity demanded is given by change in quantity demanded divided by old quantity multiplied by 100 over 1. Okay, so the change in quantity is the new quantity demanded minus the old quantity demanded. So in this case, that is 12,000 minus 8,000 divided by the old quantity, which is 8,000 times 100 over 1. So completing this will give you 0.5 times 100. 0.5 times 100 is 50. So that is 50%. 50% is option B. So option B is the correct answer to this question. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers. Hello and welcome. I will be answering WAEC 2020 Agri Science Objective Past Question 50. A cost-effective way of disseminating urgent information to a large number of farmers at the same time is through A. Demonstration, B. Evaluation, C. Mass media, D. Field trip. So we're talking about means of communication or disseminating urgent information to a large number of farmers at the same time. So we're looking for a means that has large reach, okay, and simultaneously, that works simultaneously, that delivers the information to a large number of people at the same time. Now, option A says demonstration. Now, demonstration basically is a form of display or could even be used to define protest, okay? So, this can be used to disseminate information to a large number of people at the same time, so it is not the answer. Now, evaluation basically refers to analysis, and it has nothing to do with disseminating urgent information. Now, option C says mass media, and mass media refers to a diverse array of media or of media technologies that reaches a large audience at the same time. Examples like the radio, okay, the television, etc. So as you can see, it reaches a large number of people at the same time, okay? So it can be used to disseminate urgent information to farmers at the same time. So option C, mass media, is the answer to this question. And last option D says field trip. Field trip just refers to a trip to a particular location, usually for educational purposes, okay? So option D is not correct. So option C, as I've already established, is the answer. Thank you, and please subscribe to this channel for more videos and for more past questions and answers.